Thank you for joining the January 9th, 2020 VOLTHA call. Just a reminder to everyone that these meetings are public and recorded, and we post them to YouTube after the meeting concludes. So please be mindful of that during discussions and presentations today, and particularly if you're sharing your screen. So just a quick note on the agenda. We've got 2 items for today, 2 demos or proposals and discussions. First is related to ginkgo framework for automated testing, and the HCL team is going to cover that. And then we've got Don, who will be giving a demo of the ofagent-go. So first, I think we're starting off with the HCL team, and let me see, who should I give presentation rights to for? Danielle, is that you that I should give presentation rights? Maybe on mute. Just checking, can everyone else hear me?
Oh, yeah, Julie, yes. I hear you.
Yes. Okay. Danielle, can you hear me? Okay, we may be having some, so I see McHugh, no, I cannot hear you. Okay, so it looks like we've got one-way audio right now with Danielle, so he can hear us, but we cannot hear him. So Danielle, if you don't mind, maybe what I'll do is go to Don's presentation first. Don, I think I saw you join the bridge.
Yeah, give me just 1 second. I'm setting up.
Yeah, no problem. That's fine. And then Danielle, we'll try and work in the background on the audio, see if we can get that resolved by the time Don's demo concludes. And then Don, let me know when you're ready, and I'll give you presentation rights.
Okay, I'm pretty much ready.
All right.
And you'll have to go to Chrome and just share your entire screen.
Share. Okay. All right, so you see that, okay?
Yes, I can see your screen. It's a little small. We have a
yeah, I'll zoom for
display. Okay, got it.
Hang on. So let me screen / I'm actually just resetting the OLT there. Okay, so we'll just zoom these terminals. Can you see that?
Yes, we can. Yeah, I think we just have a nice view from a boat on the other side of it. That's why I've got about half the display is in use.
I got the extended desktop.
Oh, well, that's my boat in the Miami Stadium Harbor. That
is a great view.
So real quick, I'm just starting up a new basic VOLTHA store. Let's see, stop sharing. Can I share just the app?
Possibly.
And after you enlarged it, it was visible fine, so that will work as well.
Okay.
There we
go. Is that readable, or do I need to zoom into the?
For me, all the windows are readable. Anyone else on the bridge have an issue? It looks like it's fine to me.
Okay, so over in this window, I just started basically what's in the compose. The system, what's the name of that one?
System test.
System test. So I've created my own, and the only thing I've done is remove the Python ofagent. So in that case, I have the ofagent here, the Go version. That I'll start it from this shell script, but in the shell script, you can see I'm just connecting to the local version. I'll turn debug on. So just /run debug. So this window will be just the basic output of that. Over here, this is the client that's at the other end of the ONT and RG attempting to ping out to the world. So let's see. Okay, so we'll add the device, and then enable it. Okay, so we can see it kicking off. So all the hellos happening, we're bringing it into the fold. Over here, we'll go ahead and jump on Onos. What's that?
Say run ports there, you probably see it.
Yeah, I was just waiting. You can. I don't. So at this point, we're waiting on the users. I'm going to go ahead and disable LLDP because you watch the packet outs, and that's how you can know. When there we go.
There it goes. Yeah. So ETH is happening.
All right. Okay. So it's authorized. So at this point, we'll do a Volt add subscriber access to the device, and it's hanging off port 16. And see.
Yeah, it'll be about 10 seconds.
Yeah. We'll know as soon as the ping starts working, actually.
Yeah. No, the RG will do DHCP, and then it'll spend another 5 seconds ARPing, making sure it's free, and then it'll start actually use the address. There it goes.
There it goes. Okay. So that is the basic functionality of ofagent. I didn't really ask for enough time to do any kind of in-depth code review. I don't know if people would want to walk through the code at some point in the future, or
run meters right there real quick, because I think in order for this to work, obviously it's got to support the meters. So seeing the meters here, it's probably
just meters.
I think so. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, the defaults are there.
Okay.
So yeah, at this point now, it's run through the regression of having more speed profiles and Volt remove subscriber, Volt add subscriber, and basically walk through the regression, right? This is now a regression testable state.
Well, I mean, at least in my head, where I would go next is work with Mateo and start just beating the crap out of this, running it up with BBSim to make sure there's not some cracks in the armor somewhere.
Well, and then that's true for all the components. That's kind of where we're at with the core and the adapters as well. So.
Don, this is great, actually. Is there basically feature complete from your perspective at this point, then? It's just hardening it?
I'm not going to say we're feature complete. What I'll say is, for this particular use case, I've implemented every message type that shows up.
Okay.
So there's a lot of open flow spec that makes sense to implement in Onos, but you would never implement in the actual client.
Right.
So to Matt's point, we would really need to do a full regression of whatever we think the system needs to support. Make sure I haven't missed anything critical. But I've been very.
This is the happy path, right? This is the typical walk up cycle.
Right.
Yep.
But as new things come along, and this is why the timing of it is probably good, we're probably just about the point where we're going to start seeing a lot of multicast provisioning starting to happening, right? End-to-end multicast. So do we want to have to make changes to the Python OF agent, or do we want to go ahead and start getting that in the Go OF agent?
So I would say the one area that possibly comes up that needs more fleshing out is the flow add scenario. And why I say that is currently all I see in this particular use case is flow add and flow delete strict. I don't know if there's ever any flow mod strict, flow add strict. I don't know if that ever comes up in more kind of edge use cases or not. I can code it. What I can't do is test it unless there's some scenario that would get ONOS to issue those commands. Does that make sense, David?
Yeah, it does. Are you aware of anything in the Python OpenFlow messages that it's handling that you're not, or?
Well, some of the ways
they have coded.
Python,
Again, they may not be used in the Python if no one calls them, but maybe they're coded.
Well, they use kind of a lot of reflection type of coding, not exactly reflection, but
yeah.
So it's not a real easy. I'm very strongly typed in mine, obviously, because it's Go. So there's some stuff that you can kind of gloss over and shortcut in the Python version that I just can't take advantage of.
Okay.
Or don't want to.
Or don't want to, yeah. But so in my mind, and I can let the greater community help steer me on this. My mind, starting to do the performance test, seeing if in fact this does move the needle on the work Matteo and some of the others on the scalability brigade are working on, and I fully expect there's going to be some stuff that as we ramp up and start actually doing real concurrency on this, that I'm going to. I know there's no deadlocks, but that there's going to be tweaks I need to make. There's going to be hot spots in my code. But if we want to try to come up with a full use case, we might have to talk to the ONOS people to figure out what we would have to do to use some of the messages that I'm not currently handling to actually code them and test against them.
Are you? I guess how much more testing do you think you'll need before you're comfortable to say, hey, it's time to swap out the Python for the Go?
Well, I would actually welcome everybody to do it today.
Okay.
I think it's QA regression time, right? There's the suite of tests that Jenkins runs that have gotten really good, and they go through a lot of the disable, enable scenarios, flow add, flow remove scenarios, and obviously we can do that manually, but we could also, if we could plug that into this as well, we could kind of get an apples to apples comparison.
Yeah.
I mean, I do know. I'll tell you, there's
containers for this yet, or just the source right now?
The containers are published.
Okay.
I do know that there's some bug that happens. So, like in this case, I can stop OF agent and I can start it up again, and it'll recover itself and go on functioning. But there's sometimes if I do this, it'll actually core on me with a null pointer exception, and I still haven't figured out where it's coming from.
Okay.
But so I know there's something in there that'll do that. But at the end of the day, generally speaking, when you restart it, it will recover itself and go on functioning. Yeah, the flows will have to be pushed, but
yeah, the master image for that container is in Docker Hub, so it hasn't had a tagged release yet. But if you pull it, ofagent-go master, it's there.
From command line arguments to start it, if I wanted to start it in Kubernetes, say in kind VOLTHA, in a compatible way with the current OF agent, the Python OF agent, what are the difference in command line arguments that I need?
You see the command line arguments there?
Yeah.
So they are different. They are different.
They are different. I mean, I could.
And that's fine. I just would need to know what they have to be to set up a chart for it and everything.
I can mail you the shell script I use for starting it up.
That'd be helpful. Thank you. Cool.
And for what it's worth,
Thanks.
you can probably check it into, right? That.
Yeah, maybe
so. Just
Just
a lot of times, we typically put all our compose files in the VOLTHA-go repo, mostly for historical reasons, but there's no reason not to have, whatever you're trying to test as part of your repo, a compose file in your environment there as well, right? And there are a few of them that are kind of scattered all over the place, and having that, at least, if nothing else, is a great way for folks to kind of see how the hell you run it.
yeah, I'll have to take out those mem profile and CPU profile stuff, but yeah, I mean that's how I start it, just so I don't have to type a bunch of crap.
Yep.
And again, in this case, I tee the output to a file so that I can, go back and triage things.
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, if you look at it, I have that output file. I go ahead and delete it. I rebuild the whole system to make sure I'm not testing something that I've already edited.
But yeah, this is running completely in the foreground.
Yeah.
Outside of Docker for debugging purposes. Yeah.
I'd like to try to bring it into kind VOLTHA and see it run through those tests, and then presumably once it's in there, as that's some of the premise or building blocks for the Garrett tests, you can potentially work through that a little easier and get those running.
Yeah. I don't know if this repo has the bbsim sanity check or not that uses kind VOLTHA. I guess it can't, because obviously it wouldn't be running the right container. But yeah, if we get that all tested out, then we could actually have it when you do a push to the ofagent-go repo, it'll run it in bbsim, and it could, if you send it the right Garrett command, run it on hardware as just part of the submit process.
Yep.
Okay.
But that's just CI/CD work.
So
Yep.
Clearly restarting it, I saw the flows get deleted. Does that work the same with OF agent regular? Do you know?
I don't restart ofagent a whole lot in my testing, so I can't say. It may or may not be the case in both places. But what you're probably seeing here is if DHCP from the RG fails, the RG will pull the IP from itself. So what's probably happening is DHCP packet in and out is probably not working anymore.
Well, I mean, I saw all these flows removed.
Yeah, but we don't see any packet in and out.
What will happen if you restart ofagent is that as soon as it connects back to ONOS, ONOS will wipe the switch out and reinstall the flow.
Oh.
Why would it do that as opposed to do inventory of what flows are there and then do a delta?
That's probably a question for Sora. But I know that is what is happening when you reconnect to ofagent, because that's the same thing that happens when you reboot a switch. Because ONOS want to make sure that everything that is programmed in the switch comes from itself.
Yeah, this somewhat relates to the lifecycle conversation where the components today may not all have a way to query and compare. And some of them may take a very heavy-handed approach and say, you're there, you're back, and you're gone, and you're back again. Before we do anything, let's reconcile by force.
So, I mean, are we thinking, well, what are we thinking?
I'm just saying that this may be legacy behavior. It may just
Well, yeah, but it's not ideal.
No, I know, but add it to the list.
Okay, well, all right. Yeah, that would be something to look at, because
comparing with the other one, yeah, making sure that at least if it's parity, right? If the Python one behaves a certain way, and if we can improve on that without, a whole lot of refactor, great. But if nothing else, if at least it's parity, then any changes that need to come in for new work can start being made here rather than on the Python one.
There's always a possibility too that the Python one behaves in a way we don't want it to behave, so we don't want parity.
Right, yeah. And it's just knowing, what's legacy, what's parity, and what do we want.
Yeah.
Okay. So to support you, David, I'll check in that run.sh file.
Okay.
Push that up.
Thanks.
Okay. So if there's no more questions, I'll go ahead and quit sharing. All right.
Thanks, Don. And we're still having problems getting Danielle connected on audio. So wanted to check if anyone has suggestions for anything they may have done in the past that worked for resolving one-way audio issues. So I see in chat, he told me they're using Linux developing machines and have problems with the microphone there. So
Can they dial in? I mean, typically that's what we do. It's just easier to dial in.
Let me give him a minute to respond on chat.
You know, depending on the phone number, it may be a problem, long distance or international dialing.
Give it just another minute here. I can bring my screen back up in the meantime. So appreciate everyone's patience, just another couple minutes here. We'll see if we can get this resolved. If not, we can reschedule it. But I'd like to take another couple minutes. That may be him joining now. I see another announcement showing up.
That's Girish Kumar.
Yeah, that's just Girish. Okay.
I think there's a Italy, Danielle, there's a Italy dialing number.
Can you hear me, Julie?
Ah, yes.
Okay, good. Maybe we are able to hear you. No, we are able to hear you. Can you hear us?
Good.
Yes.
Yes, can hear you now as well.
Okay, so we can try to start. Thank you for being patient.
Oh, no problem. Glad we were able to solve it. So should I give presentation rights to the web-based Danielle user?
Yes, I would like to share my desktop. I'm talking to you through the PC of Gerardo, my colleague, which is here and connected also.
Okay.
But I need to share the screen, of my connection.
So hopefully I gave presentation rights to the correct machine. Maybe it's a series.
I swapped it over to you.
Okay.
Your user.
Thank you, Zach.
Okay, can you see my screen? No, so just a minute.
Not yet. So are you using?
I should be the relator to share the screen, I suppose. Not Gerardo, but Daniele.
Yeah, let me send it back there. Presenter. Let's try again.
Okay. Okay.
There we go.
Now here we go. Thank you very much. So, hello everybody. We can start. So, we will talk about unit tests in this presentation, in this demo, which is also a proposal or a suggestion for some methods to improve unit testing in VOLTHA system. In this first slide that I am showing you is there are some points that we have focused on about the current situation in unit testing in VOLTHA. Unit testing is going on under the control of the stabilization team, the stabilization team aims to improve the quality in general of VOLTHA system. The unit testing coverage is going on and is improving a lot. It starts more or less, I think, some months ago, and up to now there are a lot of tests already written, but it's still not complete in terms of coverage of the functionalities, the code, and also there are several modules not yet covered by unit tests. Another point that we have noticed is that there are no specific guidelines for the development of unit tests. So there are some inhomogeneities in the methods and the styles and at the end in the results that the unit tests produce. Since up to now, from our point of view, each developer has been free to start to develop new unit tests without any guideline in general. Another point is that, okay, unit tests are written using the basic testing library of Golang, which is absolutely appropriate, but it's not the only way that we can go to have a complete and powerful unit test coverage of the code. We will see in this presentation another possibility that we propose. The last point of the current situation is also that not all the unit tests have been documented and described in Jira. Sometimes yes, sometimes they have been written without documentation in Jira. In the best cases, they have been documented, for instance, with a structure like having one VOLTHA task for an entire directory, for instance, and a subtask for each module in each directory. This is, we should say, it's a good method, but it's not. Currently, Jira is not. Not all the tests are documented in Jira in this way. So, what we have thought and studied in these last months is what we are going to show you in this slide, basically. These can be areas of improvement in unit testing VOLTHA that we have identified, and we will show you also in the next slide, and using also an example. This is what we have thought as areas of improving. First of all, starting from the left, we can say that all JIRAs can be documented, all unit tests can be documented in JIRAs to have a comprehensive coverage in JIRA also, and to be in a way that it could be more clear if a test is already present or not in the system. The central part of the proposal is this one that you see in the middle of the slide, and it's a proposal to move to another framework for testing, for unit testing, which is called ginkgo. Ginkgo and Omega is matching library, which is the same as Testify for the testing framework. Probably some of you already know ginkgo, or you already heard about it. Ginkgo is a widely used framework for unit testing in Golang. It is designed specifically for Golang language. It is a behavior-driven development framework to test Golang sources. It is built in a way that the unit testing programmer is compelled, or anyway it is guided in a way that each test is described in an expressive way, in a comprehensive way, from the behavioral point of view, and using also natural language to describe the test. And we think that it could be good to move to this framework. Consider that what we have thought is that we can write all the missing tests in VOLTHA. All the missing tests can be written in ginkgo, and on the other side, also the existing test can be preserved with a conversion command. ginkgo provides a lot of functionalities besides the basic framework itself. One of these functionality is a conversion command. We have tested it and it works. It works properly, converting an existing test written with the testing, like one already written by us. It converts it in ginkgo framework. Of course, maybe you need some to put the hands on the test after the conversion, but very shortly. It's basically it works. So the proposal can be to move to ginkgo. Consider that we can suppose to work on a single repository at the beginning, for instance, VOLTHA API server or anyone or any repository, and the work could also be done in a separate branch or so, just to see how it goes, etc. A couple of things again about ginkgo is that ginkgo works on top of the testing library of Golang. And basically, ginkgo let you use all the Golang technologies inside the framework. You can use other libraries, like, for instance, the reflection library, which may be useful in unit testing, GoMox, and so on. As I told you, also ginkgo has several extensions. For instance, a quite detailed and full reporting extension. And through this reporting extension, we can have the output of the tests in text format, but also in XML or HTML format. For what we have seen up to now in ginkgo, we can say that absolutely all the functionality that we have in testing are present, of course, also in ginkgo, and even more. The last point is that ginkgo is, of course, it's possible to integrate it in continuous integration tools like Travis or Jenkins. Here it is the main part of our proposal. Now we can try to show you something through the use of the next 3 slides, and also we will open the software to let you see something. Maybe Gerardo is going to help me a little bit here.
Yeah. Okay.
Eclipse is this one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Basically, with the ginkgo, we have at least a couple of files, a sweet file and a sweet file for the package you want to test. In this case, frouter, and one or more files for your test or behaviors, because ginkgo is a behavior-driven development, so you don't write tests, but you describe behavior that you want to check. So in the sweet file, both files, sorry, both files.
Okay, this is the suite.
Okay, the suite file just contain some information available for all tests you need to run, all common parts. So you have the suite name, test router, the connection to the matching library, in this case Gomega, and just run your specification or your behaviors. You can add in this suite file, you can customize, here is commented, you can customize the reporter in order to achieve an XML file, or you can add the code you intend to run before all tests in your suite with the before suite part, or the common part you want to run after all your tests in after suite part. Then this is the suite file in the backend test. In this case, in backend test, in your test, you can describe the behaviors. Just one word is that both files, suite and test files described in ginkgo, you can create these files in automatically by ginkgo command. Create automatically in the sense, I mean, you can create the template for these files. So you can use ginkgo bootstrap to create this simple file without any customization for the suite, and you can generate with the ginkgo generate file. You can create a template with the basic structure for the test file. For each in your test file, you describe the behavior with the tags described, context, and it, and you describe behavior that is very descriptive. You can in this case you can create you describe the create backend positive test behavior. You describe the context, and then what you expect in this case.
Basically, the describe is something like a suite of positive tests. In this case, only one. But for instance, in the next case, the describe negative tests, we have different context, and so they are different tests.
Yeah.
Different negative tests.
At the end, the reporter, you can see in the reporting file, the exam behavior. I can show you by run the tests for this case. See?
Yeah. No, go. Okay.
Okay. Another good feature for ginkgo is the watch mode. So in this way, I run my suite in watch mode. That means more or less that ginkgo is waiting for changes in my packages, and if someone change or develop change something in the package inside tests or also in other part of code, ginkgo rerun all tests in real time and show you a pop-up with the result, pass or fail. So in this way, we have five behaviors in our test file, and you can see the behavior. For example, the description create backend negative test with the context. Create negative test with backend association location missing, and the expected result you should see.
Shouldn't create a backend. Yeah. Okay.
You have a green circle in case the test is passed, or red circle in case the test is not passed, and at the end a summary about passed test, failed, or pending or skipped tests. if someone change test or Golang code, for example, just to ginkgo detect changes in the package and rerun all suite, showing all tests passed and the tests we modified fail with a lot of information in order to understand what is the expected value and what is the real value.
Yeah. Okay. We can put again the note. It was okay. Just save and see that now changes have been detected again, and everything will go back. Okay. Okay, Gerardo. Yeah, Gerardo. We have to speak about, of course, some other functionality very shortly, just to let you know. There are important directives like after each and before each.
Yeah, you can group all common implementation in a different level in your tests with the before each or after each tags. So in this case, the before each, this code is run before each test in your describe, or you can also put in another level of your code the before each or even the after each in order to group some code for
operation stubs
for your
in order to have preliminary operation stubs, mocks or something like that, and you can put before each or after each at each level of nesting. In this position, for instance, it will be executed after each context directive.
Yeah.
In this case, it was only one. In this case, this part of the code, just a printf in this case, will be executed after each context suite test. But you can put it inside the context, and it will be executed after each single test. Anyway, okay. Basically, it's a wide variety of possibility. Okay. I just want to tell you that also I have seen in internet in the basic in the main ginkgo site there is the possibility also to write the tests in a table. Like the table-driven style that we are already using in some tests that we have written up to now, and so on. There are a lot of possibilities. The one that we are showing here is, of course, how can I say, an interactive mode with the watch. Parameter in watch mode. But of course, you can put the ginkgo calls inside. Ginkgo can be, of course, executed also in background, for instance, in continuous integration, and it can produce the results in files, in textual or XML formats. Okay, it can be more or less. Yeah. What happened here? Yeah, we can move back to our yeah. More or less, this is this all. If you have some questions or so. In this last slide, we have summarized the advantages of the use of ginkgo framework. And what else can I remark again that the conversion, we don't have an example now, I think, Gerardo, no. But the conversion was working both quite in a good manner. And so it's all the stubs, for instance, of a test are recognized and included in the new ginkgo test. And so it works quite fine. At the end of the slide, I just put some links to the main internet site of ginkgo that describe all the functionalities of this framework. That's all, more or less. If you have any questions or otherwise, can go back to the.
You said you don't have an example of like one of the existing more complicated unit tests written for this framework?
Sorry?
I'd be interested. Yeah, I would be interested in an example of one of our existing unit tests.
Yeah.
Potentially one of the more complicated ones.
Yeah. Okay, you're right.
Just to kind of understand kind of what it looks like, the differences. That'd be helpful.
David, we don't have one now. We can make some. We can send an example to you in somehow in a VOLTHA discussion topic or via email or so. We can do so. Yeah, we can for sure. We can send one. You mean you would like to see one of the most complicated, one of the most.
I don't know about the most, not the most, but more complicated.
Yeah. If you were to pick one, in VOLTHA-go, the OpenFlow manager, OpenFlow, one of the components there that does a lot of the flow decomposition unit test is a very good. Yeah. It's a very good test, and that one we rely on quite a bit.
Yeah, we can try, of course. It would be interesting for us also. As I told you, the conversion command makes a basic conversion. Then maybe that the programmer can handle a little bit the file to improve to improve it. But we will try. Okay, the flow decomposition. Yeah. Anyway, I will ask you. We will send this test. I think that maybe VOLTHA Discuss is the best place to do.
Yep, that'd be fine. Thank you.
Okay, we will.
Looking at briefly at the examples that you showed in ginkgo, it looks like the actual unit test per se, the test itself. It will still be written as is, except you'll have a bunch of metadata around it to control it better or to document it better. Is that correct? Like in your example here, right? Like when you're talking about before each test, and then when you're having like at line 36, you're talking about backend, creating a new backend. Those are things that exist in the current test, right? What you're doing, you're putting a bunch of metadata around it and pretty much organizing it. But the test case itself doesn't change much. Is that right?
No. Yeah.
No?
If the test case is exactly the same, of course, but you can write your test in a descriptive mode. So it's very easy to think your test in a functional from a functional point of view. So it should be simplified. Also to read the report of tests of behaviors should simplify this. The
great what is important in ginkgo is this possibility and the fact that you are driven to describe the test in natural language through the context and the it statements, and that's okay. And more or less, of course, you need to implement the metadata on the stub data and the functionalities that you need, for instance, in a before each. But before each is quite. You have basically a standard way where to put the metadata on the stubs, which is the before each, and a place where to destroy eventual data that must be cancelled at the end of the test, which is the after each directive. I mean, everything is controlled with the proper directives and quite clear through the use of natural language, and so it's what we see. It can be very, very useful and can improve the readability and the maintaining of the unit tests.
Today you can write unit tests with just the result pass or fail without any comment or log or anything else.
Yeah.
With ginkgo you cannot do this. So ginkgo guide you to program your test or your behavior and to describe the results in the report.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when you talk about the report per se, is the report what we saw on the screen that you were displaying? Is that the look of the report, or is there other reports that comes out?
It is the look of the report, but okay, consider, for instance, in this example, we have some printfs. Printfs, I think, that can be removed. Just an example here to use the after each. Because you don't basically need, since you use context, strings to describe the test. But basically, yes, that was the look of the report. But it can vary. It depends on what you write in the context and in the statements, directives. Yeah. We also produced an XML, but currently I don't remember it so much. Also, I don't know XML so deeply.
Yeah, we can make some changes right now in the suite and
okay. Because Ken, you mean that the look of the output is not so clear? I don't know.
No. Because you're talking about reports, right? So I'm just wondering what different type of reports you have. So I'm just wondering, whatever you see on the screen, is that?
Yeah, there are a lot of ginkgo, for instance, that we have can be removed, of course, can be restructured a little bit.
Yeah. That's how about code coverage? Do you get any result of code coverage with it?
The code coverage, something reported in the output. Yes, of course.
What I remember, we can use cobertura
it can use cobertura.
But the test at the moment is not implemented.
No, it's not. We haven't it in this example, but yes, it can use. It can report the coverage. Yes. With the same
if we can use cobertura.
Yes. You may find it's not a long internet page. You can have a very quick glance at the links I put in the last slide of the demo, and you will see that all these functionality are mentioned. Also the coverage, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ashok here, just to add a point, actually, when we were searching for different frameworks, we found that basically this was an easy to use and adapt, and in terms of the functionality and results, it's I mean, it's not very complicated, but it can make life more easier for unit testing. So that's the basic idea of trying out this framework.
Yeah, thank you, Ashok, because you remember me to tell you, yes, that it's very easy to set up and start with ginkgo.
Yeah.
We did not have to study much to do, just a couple of commands and it goes. We did the work we have done for this demo and some tests and so on in the spare time. I mean, it's very fast and easy to start up and to use. Yeah. Mm.
Any other
Okay.
questions?
Yeah.
Would this, is your thought that this would be used just for unit testing within individual projects and not for integration testing, which we are already using Robot for?
Mm-hmm. Zach, you mean if it can be used for simple unit test instead of integration?
Yeah, so you're thinking this replaces Go test, or is an addition to Go test rather than replacing some of the other robot based tests.
Okay. If I can answer that, it doesn't replace the Go test fully. It also uses the testing package, and it just gives some improvements and ease of programming for the developer. So it's not like a replacement kind of thing. So
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, just a comment. Thanks, HCL, for putting this together. I think Zach and I would chat in the background. Maybe Sujitra also should take a look at this one from ONF. So we will talk to Sujitra after this meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Sorry, guys, I have to drop. Julie, I have to drop now.
Okay, and I'll go ahead and take presentation rights back.
Right. Okay.
All right. So hopefully everyone's seeing the agenda again. We did have just the two demos and discussions today. So thank you to all of our presenters. Any last comments from the group that you would like to bring up or topics for discussion today?
No.
Okay, then I think that is it. We can go ahead. I'll stop the recording and then we'll meet again next week on Tuesday.